I think ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. You know, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything. No, it really has been a tough first year for you, Mr. President. Gas is up, gas is up, gas is up, everything. Rent is up, everything, everything, everything. Gas is up, rent is up, food is up, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is the Free for All Friday. Well, wait a minute. It's the Free for FU Friday. I think that's the kind of day and week we have all had. I've talked to friends over here and friends over there and friends down there, and it's basically FU all the way around. And so the lead-off story on this Free for All Friday is going to be just that, a big FU that we all got to hear about. But first, before we get there, I want to thank everybody for being right here. Folks, this isn't church. You don't have to show up. You don't have to support. You don't have to be on the thepreparedmind.club or subscribestar.com. If you don't come here and play with us, I'm not going to tell you you're going to hell, right? I'm not going to hold that over your head the way the church does. I'm not going to tell you you're going to prison, right? I'm not going to play that game like the Democrats are. You believe our belief system, by golly, or we're going to put you in a concentration camp. It's totally voluntary here. I love it. I love that relationship. You don't have to be here. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to support. In fact, I'm pretty sure if you're here, it's because you want to be here. And the message means something. You see, some people, they just get news clips and they read them. And they say, well, A happened and then B happened and then C happened today. That's our show, hasta la vista. Not so much on the Prepared Mind channel. I'll take you a news story. And then after reading a 5-second headline, I can give you 5 minutes to 15 minutes of discussion on the topic. Because that's how I roll, Daddy-O. Anyways, it is Free for All Friday, which means I'm going to do a news story or two. And then you guys get your questiones in. So get your questions, comments, your reviews, your opinion. Your thoughts, your concerns, your cares, your worry, concern about history, your worry, concern about the future. Get it in question form now. Get it into Jolene. We got Uman in the house as well. We are at full strength again. And folks, times are tight. Right? Times are tight. The reason I do Zero Dark 30 is, well, I had to get basically a third job. Right? Just trying to make ends meet and not go underwater. Same with Jolene, same with everybody. I mean, if you guys knew Uman's work schedule, I think he gets less sleep than me. So everyone here working behind the scenes in the R Syndicate and the Prepared Mind club and the rsyndicate.com, everyone has an opinion. Everyone works their butt off. Everyone wants to get our country saved. We're not going to save the country, you know. No magic dust you can sprinkle at this point. Anyways, I know I'm rambling a bit, but I want to get to this, right? It is a Free for FU Friday, and this was incredible. Do you remember this thing called Starlink? You might have forgotten Starlink. That was Elon Musk using his satellites to float over the top of Ukraine and help them battle the evil Russians. Remember that? Okay, now it's not the Ukrainian people. He was helping the Ukraine government. Right? The Ukraine people are as big of victims as the Russian people and the Lithuanian people and the Estonian people and the Polish people and the German people and the Czech people, all of which are just pissed off at being used as toys, having their money taken, etc. I'm sure of that. I mean, there's some people that genuinely support Zelensky and people that genuinely support Putin and genuinely support whoever the hell is in charge of Poland. Sure. But most people are like, we're tired of this shit. We're tired of the energy bills. Kind of like that Biden thing. Yeah, everything's looking up. Energy, food, gas, right? Everything. So Elon Musk used his satellites, folks, his Starlink satellites, to help Ukraine, help the military coordinate and talk. He used his satellites, folks, and he said that Starlink's costs run about $20 million, 20 million, not 20,000, 20 million, not 20 million a year, but 20 million a month. Folks, if I had 20 million, I would be doing this show from, I don't know, someplace other than the fucking bunker, but 20 million a month. So guess what, right? Elon Musk says, well, okay, I'm doing that for you. But the Ukrainian ambassador, remember when he told Musk to fuck off? Once again, politicians, bureaucrats, news people, everyone's throwing the F-bomb around. So Elon Musk told the Pentagon, I tell you what, you are now going to pay that SpaceX bill, right? That Starlink satellite. You get to pick up the tab. I'm not going to pay for that shit anymore because, you know, I was told to fuck off. Literally. So basically, so Elon says, oh, you want to tell me to fuck off? Well, okay then. And he says, we're just following your recommendation. That's the quote, we're just following his recommendation. Basically, you told us to fuck off, so we are fucking off and you can pay the bill now. All because Elon Musk said he wanted peace. Essentially, that's what I've said I want. I want peace. I want to be left alone. I want to stop being taxed. I want to stop being regulated. I want to stop being told what to do. I want to stop being told you have to put on a mask, get an injection, lose your job, yada, 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 yada. Right? Freedom, liberty, peace. I want peace. I don't think I've been vague about that, have I? I don't think so. If anyone can tell me how I've changed my mind and said, you know what, I don't want peace. I want to start killing people and going to war. You know, I think it would be hilarious, though. If you remember that thing called Celebrity Deathmatch, it was a joke, Celebrity Deathmatch. I really would like to see like political deathmatch, but, you know, not death. Ooh, that's too scary. How about, you know, putting those big balloon punching bags, soccer boppers? When I was like 4 and 5, you know, we got soccer boppers and we could like bonk each other and it didn't hurt. But I'm sure today kids would see those and go, oh my God, we're going to die. He's punching me. Crazy stuff. Just absolutely, what a bunch of ding-dongs out there. I try and be as consistent as possible. And my message is consistent for you guys, just as your message has been consistent that I get. Thank you, John, for doing this. You're helping me. Thank you, John, for doing this. We know you're helping others. Thank you, John. I know people around the world listening to this message, and they know and understand because of you and I that people in America do love freedom, do love liberty, that we value and cherish our culture, tradition, and laws, and that we're not a bunch of ding-dongs, which is exactly what they see on mainstream media, a bunch of ding-dongs throwing America, our history, our founding fathers under the bus. The rest of the world, if it wasn't for the Prepared Mind Network and other alternative media, they would think that we're all a bunch of drag queen, light in the loafer, goofball, screwball idiots, right? They would think, boy, they're all like that. No, we're not. Right? We're just regular freaking people who are tired of getting kicked around by government. And we see other people in other countries getting the same treatment. So we're seeing populism in America. We're seeing populism in Europe. We're seeing it around the world. It's quite interesting and fascinating. So let's do this. I've had my say. I had to put out my 10 minutes worth of stuff. What do you guys want to talk about? And we're going to start with Latin America preparedness. He says the LA Times had an article about nations getting potassium iodide in preparation for a nuclear attack. Recently, there has been much talk about a nuclear war. Thoughts? Well, we did get the story about, and I don't know whether it's true, whether the U.S. government actually spent, was it $200 or $250 million on potassium iodide? That's a lot. I'm sure well, there's the one hand I go, well, if I'm going to buy $200 million, I would expect I get a big discount. That is, you know, I get a lot of it for my $200 million. But then we have the military industrial complex, which will charge $10,000 for a hammer and $500,000 for a toilet seat. So maybe that $200 million that the Biden administration spent on potassium iodide, just took care of the White House. That sounds like government efficiency to me. But around the world, I'm sure the same story is going on. Number one, potassium iodide floods your thyroid so that you can't, when radioactive cesium, right, has a radioactive iodine in it as part of the component. It gets into your body after a nuclear war, and if you are potassium or iodine deficient, your body will absorb it and try and hang on to that shit. It's like, yeah, we got some potassium, but it's radioactive, and then you get radioactive cancer of your thyroid and you freaking die, right? So that's what you have potassium iodide for. It doesn't stop the radiation from getting in you. It just stops your body from holding on to it and cooking yourself from the inside out. Anyways, that's what that is all about. My thoughts, it's a scare tactic. It's a scare tactic. And it's probably another way for the government to reward their benefactors, right? The people that support them. Now, it's funny on their side of the aisle, right? Big government, right? Everyone's cheering them on. Yay, big government, because the big government's giving them money. Big government's not giving me any money, and I have no reason to cheer them anyways. Even if they did give me money, I'd probably still be really critical. Oh, John, the government does stuff for you. Show me. Show me, right? All I get is taxes. Anyways, a lot of people I know pay a lot more taxes than me, and they're equally pissed off. Probably more so. Ruh-roh. We've got Charlene who says, have to wonder who has connections to the manufacturer of the potassium iodide. Follow the money. Oh, you bet. And here's the thing, Charlenator. You wouldn't even have to be the manufacturer. Potassium iodide is not like some crazy drug compound that they have to make in a lab. It's probably one of a more, I don't even want to use that word natural, but probably a more common or easy to compound thing, right? But here's the deal. Let's just say Corporation B manufactures potassium iodide, but we'll just say Company C is the one who knows the government. So they get the contract for $200 million in potassium iodide. So then Company C, after getting that contract, goes back to Company A, who manufactures the stuff, and buys it from them at a discount, right? They get the volume discount, and then Company C sells it back to the government at a massive profit. So you don't have to be the manufacturer. You just have to be a contracting corporation who is contracting with the company. I'm sorry, the country, the national government, or the federal government, if you wish to call it that. Yeah. So it's the middleman. Kind of like Russian oil is being sold to Europe, but it goes through companies in India or Iran or the Middle East or even China. They get Russian oil, put it on their ship. They pump it from the Russian ship to the Chinese ship or the Russian ship to the Saudi ship, and then they ship it into Europe. And it's like, that's clean oil. There's not Russian oil on my hands. Yeah. All right, it's my turn. Don't put anyone else's questions up there. Get your questions in down below, and I am going to talk about a topic that happened just last night. Back behind the scenes, there was banter going back and forth between Ooman and I occasionally chimed in and others, and we were discussing this this mass shooter who started killing people in Raleigh. Apparently, I think he was running around in camouflage. Well, it's not 100% perfect. You don't become invisible. But it turns out that the shooter, who was identified as a 15-year-old person named Austin Thompson, he killed his older brother and 4 other people. Does that sound like a good old-fashioned conservative moral, decent, law-abiding, tax-paying type of human. Well, he's only 15, right? So he's a young person. He's still young. He's still being formed and molded. So I want to ask you this question, right? This baby-faced 15-year-old boy who is now hospitalized with life-threatening injuries, who created him? This monster. I have to ask you, right? Was it video games? Did video games turn this wholesome American good kid into a murderous bandito? Right? Well, there's been violent video games since I was a kid, and I'm not a kid anymore. So I have to ask you this. If it wasn't video games, was it Hollywood? Did Hollywood movies turn this young man into a vicious, insane, mass murdering, fraternal murdering dude? Right? He killed his brother and 4 other people. Was it Hollywood? Right? Well, now, if you commit a crime with a gun, Democrats want to sue the gun manufacturers for making the gun. Well, who turned this boy into a monster? It wasn't me. I don't tell people to go around killing their brothers and other people. That's not me. I say, look out. There's going to be idiots out there killing other people on the street. And this jackass, right, this kid, this 15-year-old, makes my point. Right? That people are out there killing other people. They're probably lunatics, zombies, wackos, right? So let me continue, if I may. 15-year-old boy, baby-faced shooter. It wasn't video games. Oh, it wasn't Hollywood. We can't have Hollywood being blamed, even though they've got rock 'em, sock 'em, shoot 'em up movies. Well, you know, I've been watching Rambo and First Blood and Chuck Norris movies and all kinds of shoot 'em up movies and Steven Seagal. I've been watching all that stuff my whole life. I haven't had an urge to go kill my brother and people in my neighborhood. So if it wasn't video games in Hollywood, was it the boy's parents? Well, parents do have a large amount of influence on their kids. Could have been the parents, huh? Does that sound right? How about this? How about public schools? Could it be public schools that made this kid into the monster he is today? Well, what we've learned is that schools have an incredible amount of influence over children. They've been telling me this since I was a child, right? Because of peer pressure. Now, what do we hear about peer pressure in schools today? Well, they want you to chop your weenie off or chop your boobies off. They want you to identify as something other than what you are. And you should be ashamed of yourself if you're not a 100% person of color who doesn't, who hates America. You have to hate America. You have to hate being white or European. You have to hate conservatives and hate the founding fathers and hate the flag and hate the Constitution. You have to hate freedom. You have to hate Republicans, right? You have to hate everything and be a socialist and a sellout and whatever else. Unbelievable. So is it the schools where the teachers? Oh, man. Well, the teachers, right? The public schools have peer pressure from other kids and then teachers. What have we been hearing about teachers for the last couple of years? Right? That they want to teach critical race theory, that they want to push this LGBTQIP and LMNOP. They want to push all that. They are pushing an incredible anti-Americanism that is just off the charts. Maybe public schools who have kids from approximately 8 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. That's, if I do my math, that's 7 hours of influence. And then kids get home from school. Their parents get home at 5. So the parents have got them maybe from 5 o'clock till 9 o'clock. That's 4 hours. Parents have as much influence over their kids, half as much as the school does as far as time-wise. But the school tells the kid that their parents are evil bad because they're Republican or white or American or traditional or Christian, whatever it is, because Christians be bad. Anyways, and then I thought about this some more. And I thought about it and I thought about it. And then I took a nap and then I thought about it. If it wasn't video games and it wasn't Hollywood and it wasn't the parents and it wasn't the schools, then it must have been Trump. Trump created this monster. And there, my friends, is your satire. It took a long time to get there, right? Good golly, folks. And just to kind of piggyback on that, yeah, and it's not just schools that are attacking traditional, moral, decent people. CVS has fired a nurse practitioner for one reason, apparently, and that is that their nurse practitioner at the CVS pharmacy is a Catholic, a devout Catholic. And now we've heard that pro-life Christians are a national security threat. So we can't have that. Corporations can't have Christians. They can't have people who are moral and decent. Nuh-uh. You have to renounce your whiteness, renounce your religion, renounce your culture, renounce your skin color. You have to renounce your political belief system. You have to renounce everything, or you're going to lose your job. You'll have your bank account canceled. You'll be castigated by social media. Folks, I don't go to other people's websites and try and get them thrown off the internet. I don't spend time online in Twitter, right? Going to other people's sites and attacking them. I'll report what they're saying, right? And then talk about it here, but I don't go on there and call them names and troll them and shit. Right? Why? I'm not going to change their mind. You're either a good and decent person or you're not. I'm not the one running around saying, let's kill babies. I'm not the one running around saying kids should have their genitals chopped off, or kids should commit suicide, or kids should take drugs that change their puberty status from like going into puberty to not at all. I'm not the one who says, we should take all of our money and send it to Ukraine. I'm not the one who says, let's open the southern border and create not only an illegal immigration system that just is failing, but encouraging illegals to come here, creating a humanitarian crisis in our country because they're flocking here, just trying to get to America. I'm not the one doing all that. I'm the one saying, look at all the problems they're causing. You need to have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. It's that simple. Get prepared. That's my message. Get prepared. I mean, isn't that my message? I'm pretty sure that's my message. Warn every man, teach every man and woman. And what's amazing is we've had an incredible amount of women politicians stepping up and turning up the heat, right? Turning up the fire. I mean, for years we've had Matt Gaetz, we've had Cotton, we've had Senator Paul and Senator Cruz. We've had a lot of good males, but now we're starting to get this. Well, let me use a presidential term. This cadre. That was Representative dipshit. What was his name? Representative Hoyt. I mean, he's almost a nobody, but he just had to come out and say that the deep state. Steny Hoyer, right? Come out and called him a cadre. Okay, well, we now have a cadre of female politicians. I want them to do more than just talk. But I see this as kind of a graduated step thing, right? Things are normal, then things go bad, then the people get screwed, and then we say, let's elect good politicians that'll stand up for us, and then they come out screaming and yelling, and then they get attacked, and then they get enough power because of populism that they can actually do things like censor, and I don't mean that as in silence people, but censure them, as in give them some official criticism or impeach them, right? There's a lot of things that can be done, but you got to have more power. At least we're getting Big Marge, and we're getting Maya Flores, and we're getting Lauren Boeberts out there, and many others to boot. But it sure would be great if they all stepped up. First, right, get elected, then get loud, and then do something about it. By golly, save America. I mean, they're in the position. All right. Once again, I go long in my wind. All right. Who is up next on this Free for FU Friday? It is David. And he says, just in time for the election, San Francisco mayor pledges a crackdown on drug sales. This is great. Here we go. Ready? The city must be more aggressive with enforcement against drug dealing and violence, she said. Selling drugs is not legal. Using drugs out in the open is completely unacceptable. So Dave says, I say utter BS. No announcement yet saying they'll be closing their safe injection sites. That's right. In San Francisco, go ahead and go buy your illicit drugs on the corner, and then go to the government who's going to give you free hypodermic needles and a place to inject yourself. They ought to put, we used to have, get this, garbage bins. Public garbage bins on the street. Every 100 yards would be a garbage bin. So people can throw their garbage in there. And then we started recycling in this world. In my life, I remember as a kid, you would recycle to get your deposit back on your Coke bottles, Pepsi bottles, Double Cola bottles, 7-Up bottles, Dr. Pepper bottles, A&W root beer. Any bottle, I was like worth a nickel or 10 cents. And to kids, that was like gold, right? So you started recycling then. Then they got recycling bins. So here's your garbage. Here's your recycling. Now they need garbage, recycling, and sharps containers for all the drug addicts to put their needles someplace safe. But while you're at it, San Francisco, why don't you try enforcing the rule about exposing your genitals in public to people, having sex in public with people, crapping on the streets, and all other manner of filth. The last time I was in San Francisco, folks, I watched a lady try and give a homeless person some food, and it didn't go real well. They're zombies. They're literally zombies. And it's terrible. Something should be done. There's a lot of people who are just sick in the head, and something needs to be done. Can't we do something for the homeless? Something for the mentally ill? Can't we do something for the homeless vets? And holy shit, the other day I got just knocked over by someone who wanted to tell me all about the homeless vets and the fact that, we're sending money up to $100 billion. We're sending money over to Zelensky. And someone even asked the question online that said, you know what? I'm starting to look at all foreign aid now, whether it goes to Ukraine or any other country where U.S. sends money, that it's actually a money laundering scheme so that money can be sent there, cleaned, and then transferred to foreign bank accounts for U.S. politicians to enrich themselves. There's some chin scratching for you. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but starting to make some sense. We're sending hundreds of millions, nay, billions of dollars. 100 billion alone to Ukraine. 100 billion alone to Ukraine. Wouldn't that be better spent here in America on our homeless vets, on our homeless civilians, on our homeless lunatics on the frickin' street? Yeah, it'd be nice to take care of America for once. It sure would, folks. It really would, right? Unbelievable. I want to thank Mr. T for doing all of the great graphics and everything. Dude, literally, I wake up early in the morning. I'm out of bed at like 3 sometimes 2, sometimes I get to sleep till 5. And then I go to work, and I come home and I do this some more with you guys. I spend my lunchtime working on things, trying to answer emails and talk to people. And then, my evenings afterward, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, man, have we all got our plates full with what the hell is going on? People are trying to get the message out. People are trying to wake people up, right? Get this. A man interrupted a vaccine symposium to call out what he saw as criminal activity of Pfizer. Well, the science staff, maybe they're anti-science, right? Made him disappear as quickly as a vaccine victim. People are trying to get the word out. We got to do something about what's happening. And once again, I want to point out to you and thank you for sending me stuff. I mean, I get stuff all day long in my email. I just look at it and go, I'm never going to get to all this. I get stuff from Fuzzy. I get stuff from John. I get stuff from all over the place, including Ooman and the R Syndicate and everyone else out there who is friends with them and friends of friends of friends. Anyways, unbelievable. Let's do this. Let's get to another one of your comments on this Free for FU Friday. And we've got Jake. And this is a good one. Jake says, they say that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, except Russian bears definitely kill you. Yeah, that's a good one. That was actually Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche, famous German existentialist philosopher. Delved a little bit into psychology, a little bit into philosophy. He was basically the inventor of existentialism, which is a philosophical view that we're all screwed. And that would be my ad hoc definition. Anyways, yeah, that which does not kill you makes you stronger. I think as an American, that's something that we can get behind. Like, all right, we survived the cerveza pandemic. We're stronger and smarter for it, right? We survived the 1970s ridiculousness, right? The problems with the economy, the energy system, we survived it and we became, well, you and I, we wised up to it. We're smarter for it, etc. The government, they apparently didn't learn because they're doing the exact same things it would seem. I mean, and they do. They keep doing the exact same things. Now, speaking of that, right, Biden, that's Jackass Gigi Biden, Jackass Joe, has renewed the cerveza bug emergency for another 90 days. Why another 90? Why not do it day by day? Why not do it for 9 days? What is this magic 90-day, 3 months, another quarter? Well, after he said it ended, remember when Joe Biden says that the pandemic is over? Well, they don't want to give up that power. Well, the COVID czar said the pandemic's not over, and the medical dude, he said it's not over, and the political medical dude, and right. They don't want it to be over, folks. And get this, they can change it. The agenda changes daily, depending on what they need the public to believe. Do they need more fear? Do they need more fierce independence? They're yanking people around, folks. Imagine having a collar on your neck, but with 4 or 5 leashes on it, yanking you all different directions all day. Be afraid. Be mad at Ukraine. Be afraid of Russian nuclear war. We'll kick their ass, says the military. Right? You're getting yanked all over the place. Yeah. Got a freaking neck ache just from pantomiming that. Anyways, yeah, that's what we get, folks. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, this morning I talked about Jamie Dimon saying this is a fucking war. That was kind of interesting, right? It was kind of interesting. Not only, I mean, he went after Biden, then he said, well, Trump can't do it either. Right? Then he put down the energy policy and said we should drill our own. I don't know whether to vote for Jamie Dimon or send him hate mail. I mean, this guy's all over the place. His corporation, J.P. Morgan, which he runs, is famous for screwing with the precious metals industry and spoofing and everything else. They get fined, is it hundreds of millions or is it billions of dollars now? But they're not prohibited. They're not prohibited from trading inside in the market. I think once your company has been found guilty, I think not only should the individuals who did it, but if it can be established that it was allowed, encouraged, promoted by that company, which they did with J.P. Morgan, best I could tell. It's like, well, my boss knew about it. They encouraged it and they didn't stop us. Well, okay, then. So the company should have its license yanked as well. No. Let's just fine them a little bit of money and then allow them to continue doing the same thing. Unbelievable. Folks in Europe, They're having some fuel issues, right? They're having energy issues. Electricity prices going up 10 times, 20 times. How many times? I don't even know anymore how much it's gone up from where it was like 2 years ago or 5 years ago. It's just gone bonkers. People can't even pay their freaking bills. People can't pay their mortgages, right? They're screwing everything up. And now we have this. A major refinery in Europe has malfunctioned. And it puts Europe in even greater trouble, right? Can they get gas? Can they get diesel? Can they get oil? Can they get natural gas through the pipeline? Nope. No, let's blow those up. Let's not, right? Let's start a war with Russia and then ruin our energy policy. But so I'm looking at this refinery. It's a major refinery, big refinery in Europe. And they're saying they're having a malfunction. A major malfunction. What's your major malfunction there, Private John? Malfunction. What have we been hearing that Ukraine is claiming it's doing to Russia? Sabotaging, attacking them. And other company or countries are, saying, no, it's the CIA, or no, it was the US. No, it was NATO. Right? I don't know if this is a malfunction or if it is actually sabotage and cyber warfare. Remember, just a few days ago, we had cyber warfare with our airlines. Now, whether it was sanctioned by Putin or in Russia, or whether it was hackers, I'm under the impression it would seem that not only are computers being hacked, but people's brains are being hacked. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable what is going on. Incredible. All right. Let's see. We're at 37 minutes into this broadcast. Let's do this. I haven't done this yet today. and folks, yeah, it's a very tragic topic, but we try to, I'm not making fun of those who have been tragically affected or their families, right? But I am going to point out that the government is full of shit. So let's play Take a Wild Guess. You bet, sponsored by the Jim Jones Juice. Let's take a wild guess, folks. On this one, a freshman Benedictine. That would be Benedictines, folks, are Catholics, right? There's Franciscans and Benedictines, right? A freshman Benedictine football player has suffered cardiac arrest and collapsed during practice. Once again, someone in their late teens, early 20s, in incredible athletic shape, cardiac arrest. Take a wild guess. Why are high school students and even children around the world dying? Why are college players and professional athletes keeling over, going out of shortness of breath, claiming their careers are over? Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess. It's just unfucking believable. Unbelievable, right? Oh, wait, look at this. Remember how I said, PayPal is offering $1,500 to people? Don't leave PayPal, right? Keep your account open. Well, it looks like Chase is trying to offer me a $600 reward. Up to $600, you can open a Chase checking account with your qualifying activities. Oh, wait a minute. This is true, folks, right here. I've got it. Chase, it says when you open a new Chase total checking account and new Chase savings account with qualifying activities, like up to a $600, what qualifying activity is that? Let's take a wild guess at what the qualifying activity is. Taking a knee, chopping off my genitals, getting the Jim Jones juice. What is the qualifying activity that I have to do to make these bankers happy? Yeah, right. Thank you, but no, thank you. Just incredible. All right, let's do this. Let's get to one of your questions out there. Let's have some more free for FU Friday fun. It's Jason Walker checking in. And he says, I see so many people who refuse to look at what's going on. But when shit hits the fan, they are the ones who will scream for help. I tell you, I really do. I feel bad. I feel bad for Americans who have taken the Jim Jones juice because they've been tricked into it. Can you leave that one up, Joey? Thank you a million. I feel bad for people who have been coerced into taking the shot. I feel bad for people who have been coerced into taking, kids into taking puberty blockers or identifying as something they're not, or like an animal. Like there was a school, the report came out, school said they put a fucking sandbox in a classroom for someone who identified as a cat. Now, did they actually use the sandbox, or was it just there to make them feel good? I feel sorry for these people who are being so indoctrinated that they're not allowed to think for themselves. And folks, I think for myself, and then I even question myself. And before the show, Uman and I were talking, or about, we have some great conversations back behind the scenes. We bitch and moan about stuff that's going on, stuff we don't like, stuff that's happening. We make jokes, we crack jokes. We grill each other. Well, this is happening. What do you think? Right. And we get some different perspectives, but I feel bad for people who can't do that. They don't have that opportunity. Something is corralling their brains, right? I can't be a prepper because my friends don't like it. I can't be a prepper because my family thinks I'm nuts. I feel really bad for people who want to be a prepper. They want to get prepared, folks, not to be a lunatic, but because of what they see that's going on, right? What they're doing to the food system, what's happened to the water system in many places, right? What they're doing to homes, right? You need good shelter. How about you need a way to heat that shelter this winter? I feel bad for people who are in northern cities. They either like it because they're idiots, in my opinion, because they want to live in a city that's being screwed up by someone like Mayor Lightfoot, and people who can't leave, I feel bad for them because they're stuck. And I feel bad for people because they're stuck in their head and they can't get out of it. I literally, folks, okay, get this, right? I, like Jesus Christos, right? I associate, talk to, witness, see people of all different sorts, different colors, different ages, different races, different genders, right? I talk to people who are gay. I talk to people who are all over the spectrum because I want to know what they're thinking. I want to talk to them. I want to see if they're, I just want to find out, right? I can't judge someone. I don't want to judge someone, but I can't even figure out what the hell they believe unless I talk to them. I talk to all kinds of people, right? I work with charity. I don't come on here and tell everyone exactly what I'm doing because I don't need to go, well, guess what I did? And so you should feel guilty for not doing what I did. I know a lot of you do a whole lot more for charity than I do. And that's fucking fantastic, right? But back to Jason Walker. I see so many people who refuse to look at what's going on, right? But when shit hits the fan, they are the ones who will scream for help. That's true. Because they've been coerced and indoctrinated and tricked and socially pressured and picked on and put down and punished. They've lost their freaking jobs. They've lost their family unless they do something that they don't want. They invest in ESG and they're losing their fucking investments because of what's going on in Wall Street and how they're jacking that up. Feel bad. And when things get really bad and shit hits the fan, even worse, they're going to be even more trouble. They're going to look around and go, what the hell, right? I thought I was doing everything I was supposed to, and now we're screwed. Unbelievable, folks. And all I can say is, right, thumbs up, right? Share the video with others, that internet address, share it. That's the best way to get it out there. We're battling social media, folks. You and I, we get the big FU from social media. You're not allowed to have an opinion because it differs from ours. I mean, literally, I haven't changed, folks. If anything, I've become more tolerant because for decades we've been told to be tolerant. And I've been more politically correct because for decades I've been told, you can't tell those jokes. That's not a nice thing to say, John. So I've become more tolerant. I have become more open-minded. I've like I said, I talk to people that other people go, you talk to that weirdo? Yeah, I talk to that weirdo. I want to find out what's on their head, right? It's fucked up. The whole thing is just jacked up. I mean, I feel bad for these people. Now we got a professor at a Catholic university. Oh, Notre Dame. You've heard of them, right? Notre Dame. A professor at Notre Dame. A professor at a Catholic school wants to help students. I don't even know how to say this, right? The schools are tearing themselves apart. They're firing conservative professors, right? If you disagree with them, you're a white nationalist Catholic hate group. I mean, it's Notre Dame. They're Catholics. Of course, most of them are going to be anti-abortion because they're Catholics. And that's Notre Dame. I don't know if you have to be Catholic to go there. I don't know if you have to be a frickin' Mormon to go to Brigham Young University. That's what the Mormon University, or Brigham Young was a big old Mormon dude. Anyways, they're tearing everything apart. Literally tearing everything apart. They're trying to pit even us against one another, folks. You and me, they would love for us to fight, right? Because some of us here in the Prepared Mind world chose to, or were coerced, or were forced to get Jim Jones juice. I don't hate you. I don't think you're stupid. I think that you got fucked up, possibly. And hopefully you got the placebo. Hopefully you did the cleansing thing, right? And I do that. I've got the horse paste. I've got my own horse paste. And I've got the detox shit, doing stuff with Nikki. She's got like the detox program, and then we've got detox, whatever. Anyways, it looks like we've got a lot of questions left, and I'm rambling again. I guess that's my job. All right, Jolene, who's up next? Sally Sue says, when I was young, we would talk about all the things we would do, quote, if we were millionaires. Nowadays, you have to daydream being billionaire. I still would like to be just a millionaire. I'm not greedy. Yeah, being a millionaire would be great. But in truth, still, even being a millionaire, I mean, it's not like outlandish. But yeah, inflation has taken some of the fun out of saying you're a millionaire. Unbelievable. Yeah, thank you, Sally Sue. And I want to thank everybody here who has continued to support the channel, shared, hit thumbs up, and continue to have good discussions in the background, good debates, honest, nice, fair debate. I want to thank people who take the devil's advocate position, which doesn't mean being satanic, by the way. It just means taking the opposite perspective to have a discussion and test, right? That's what debate used to be about, folks. Debate wasn't about, hey, fuck you, right? The Free for FU Friday. That's not what debate was about. It wasn't about gotcha moments. Debate used to be about taking an argument or a perspective and thinking of all the things you can to support that, and then use it to talk to the other person who would take the other side and get all of the points, and then discuss things to figure out what works best. What is more moral? What is more decent? What is more productive? What is more sustainable, right? If you want to have a talk and discussion about the environment, what is sustainable? Do we need to be sustainable? Right? Or, it cracked me up. They said the clean air. Because we've reduced our pollution so much, the clean air is now causing dramatic climate change. Remember that shit from like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago? Clean air is causing climate change. It's like, fuck. You go from where dirty air causes climate change, bad humans, to clean air causes climate change, bad humans. It's like, where's the debate at? Well, Fauci claimed that he's science. Maybe we should ask him. All right, Jolene, who is next? We got Mikey G. And he says, how does that old saying go? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. If I had absolute power, if I was World Emperor John, right, and I was like the Pope and the Emperor and everything all rolled into one, like I was the president and the prime minister and the premier and the prima donna and right, I could do no wrong. I was infallible. I was absolutely the most powerful being on the planet. No government, no politicians, nobody could argue with me because I'm absolutely powerful. You know, because those people who are evil with absolute power, they kill the people they don't like. First they disagree with them, then they call them names, then they attack them, and then they kill them. Anyways, you know, would I be corrupted if I had absolute power? I guess it would depend on perspective. But I don't know. I've never had absolute power. And I think that's where a lot of these people in politics find themselves. They're like, well, I ran to change things. And then they get that power and they're like, I'm in charge now and I'm going to enrich myself. It's kind of bad, right? It's kind of crazy. Absolute power does seem to corrupt absolutely. History's demonstrated that with people like Hitler and Stalin. And Stalin is a socialist, and Hitler was a socialist, and Chairman Mao was a socialist. And these corporations that are now billionaire, and I would dare say some are trillionaire, $1 trillion valued corporations. There's some freaking numbers for you, right? These trillion and billion dollar corporations, they are exercising absolute, shall we say, their power qualitatively is close to absolute as you can get in requiring people to take Jim Jones juice, or requiring you to shut your pie hole in social media, or requiring your company, your investment firm, to pile into environmental social governments. A friend of mine, whom I know, has witnessed a corporation that he no longer works for, but used to, just piling in on this ESG thing and putting the most, in the words that he described to me, right, they were incompetent, and that they were placeholders in this corporation. They were brought in because of ESG requirements and inclusion requirements. And look what we have now with the Biden government, right? Look at some of the wacko Fruit Loops there. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Good golly. Unbelievable. I mean, seriously. Okay, Jolene, I want to make sure we get to everybody. And it's Heidi. And Heidi, I want to thank you every day for your support and your messages of kindness. And I'm good. I'm good, Heidi. Thank you. And I hope you're well as well. Folks around the world, don't worry about me. I've got a lot of people looking out for me and doing all they can to help. And I do all I can to do this job as well as I can. I don't have to do this job, but I like to do this job. It's fascinating to me that I'm a regular dude. I don't think of myself as anything incredibly special. I think I'm competent. Right, I think I'm probably above average in IQ, and I'm certainly above average in height, being 6'6". Right, I'm just a dude, though. I'm just a guy, and it's great to come here and we all get to just hang out and talk, and share ideas and understand the world a little better, I guess. Anyways, Heidi says Minnesota had an APB. That's an all points bulletin. That's an old thing. I mean. Back when the police had a radio and that's how they communicated. No internet, no cell phones, no beepers even, right? And it was an all points bulletin. Minnesota had an APB out for a mother who kidnapped her daughter to prevent her from being Jim Jones juicinated. I didn't know that parents could kidnap their children. Maybe this mother was sharing custody with the father figure, and the father wanted the daughter to get the Jim Jones juice, and the mother said no, and therefore kept the daughter away from the dad so that she wouldn't get Jim Jones juicinated. Now, here's the thing. Statistically, it's been demonstrated that like 1 in 10 or 1 in 100,000 kids gets cerveza bug and dies from it. But I think there's a much higher percentage of people who get the Jim Jones juice and end up having a severe reaction, temporary problems, persisting problems, permanent problems, going and leading up to stroke, clots, heart attack, and even death. 1 in 100,000 children get COVID and have problems. Statistically, they don't show up in the death side. Like, kids are the least likely to die from that. So why are they getting the Jim Jones juice? Well, because we have to protect grandma. It's sick. It's literally sick what they're doing to these kids. Whether they're grooming them in school or telling them, hey, why don't you cut your weenie off, or why don't you read this pornographic material in school? But don't you dare read that same material at a parent-teacher conference, because you parents are a bunch of domestic terrorists, according to the Attorney General, Department of Justice, President Biden, and the FBI. Good golly, Gertrude. What the hell is going on? That's a lot of G's right there. Let's do another super chat. No, it's not a super chat. It is going to be a Zoo Sunday where you guys do super chat donations, right? Super chat donations to do the Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back fund. I don't know. Why don't we change the fund to John's? I mean, what do we want to call it if we're not going to call it the Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back? Because I'm just not going to go back to the RMZ. It's not going to happen. I mean, I can, but I don't want to. It's not going to happen. And the dollars aren't persuading me to stay here anymore. Maybe we should change the name of the GTFB and SB. Uman, get it out there in a what do you call those things? A poll. What's the new name for why we do super chat? Anyways, the Make You Famous. And folks, some of you are famous now. I got to tell you. All right, Jolene, let's get back to the the comments on this Free for FU Friday. Maybe it's FU John Friday. And anyways, East Texas Country Boy says, a lot of nuke talk on TV these days. A prepper hedges all bets. So, of course, I have a large supply of IOSAT. I do as well. I gave a package to my kids, and I gave a package to, I think, Crispy Bacon. I've given a package to others. I keep enough on hand for myself and others. And he says, anyways, back to East Texas Country Boy. I still think we'll have even bigger economic issues way before nuclear war. I think the nuclear war card is being played for fear purposes. It's fear porn from the government. Oh my God. Now, I think Putin is using it to put the fear of God in these idiots in the West. But, you know, I think it's a legitimate threat that Putin is using. And I think it is a legitimate threat that Zelensky is using. I'm not agreeing with his threat, but I think he legitimately wants to threaten Putin. He's not lying. He's not bullshitting. I think he really wants to nuke Putin. But yeah, preppers hedge for all bad bets. The same way Wall Street investors put their money where they think they're going to make money on a given day, a given week, a given bull market, right? Everyone hedges their bet to make sure that they don't lose too big and that they're protected. That's what a hedge is. All right, Jolene, what do we got next? Oh, it's Uman. That's one of the facets of staying mentally strong. Can't worry about what others think or be afraid of sharing an opposing opinion and be prepared to defend it. I mean, some of us are really good at debating. I've been told a lot that I'm a master debater. Couldn't help it. Had to go there, Uman. Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea, folks, to... Now, you don't have to get out there and debate everyone. That's just not some people's forte. But for some of us, we want to get that idea out there and vocalize it. I mean, I get to just talk about everything in a day, and it kind of helps me release, you know. So I think Uman does the same, and many of us, right? We want some release, so we want to debate it and talk. And I think it's okay to take the opposing side just for the purpose. Thank you, Jolene, and I'm glad you're back today. Always, I'm glad you're back, Jolene. We couldn't do it without you. Folks, I wish I had a lot more money to throw at Jolene. Not because she dances on a pole like a drag queen or something, but throw money at her because she does such a good job and she supports everyone, and she's back there. Jolene's done so many good things for me and the channel. I don't want to brag on her too much, but she's an awesome human. And same with Uman and everyone else that has been behind the scenes supporting us. I mean, there's some people, they don't ever want their names mentioned. And there's other people that they don't care if their names are mentioned. But there's some people I like to announce their names, like Cottage Farm or Darcy T or Michael or John or John or John. It's good. Mr. Skylight. I love it because when you hear Mr. Skylight, you know you're going to get a hell of a good quote. Anyways, folks, we've hit the 1 hour mark. We will be back for Sunday Night Live. We'll be back for the Zoo on Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. I know that that's not quite nighttime, but if you pull your shades tight, maybe put on some dark sunglasses, it'll feel like nighttime on the West Coast. But, in all truth, in all honesty, even when I was on the West Coast and even when I was at the RMZ, right, of just the vast majority of Prepared Mind folks are east of the Rockies, just because of the way the population diversity is smattered about. That's the demographics of the United States of America, continental landmass, even though, yes, we are in Australia, New Zealand, even Tasmania. Peter down in Tasmania. We've got people behind the Chinese curtain. And I know we got people behind the Russian curtain because we've gotten some rubles. Years ago, someone did a super chat with rubles. I'm sure if I got rubles today, I'd probably get some hate mail. But yeah, we've gotten kroner from Sverdia and Norway. And we've gotten pounds and Canadian dollars. Anyways, that's how we know where people are coming from around the world. But I mean, all during the week, we've got Vincent from Belfast, Ireland. Yeah, let's do one more, Jolene. What the hell? It is a Free for FU Friday, so let's get it on. Who is there? I mean, we've still got our typical Monday through Friday audience. And folks, if you're part of the preparedmind.club or subscribestar.com, you can be here Monday through Friday, and you do your $2 a month subscription. And guess what? You get to come on live. It doesn't cost anything extra during the week. But Sunday Night Live is kind of like a combination fundraiser, hellraiser, drinking fest. Well, not for me anymore because I've stepped up my game. All right, Jolene, enough of my bullshit. What do we got? It says, hey, John. Oh, this is from Regan. Or is that from Regan? Reagan? From Reagan. Which Reagan? Ronald Reagan? Fro me, Regan. Hey, John, what's your take on the elections? More chaos the week of or the week after? I have a week vacation to burn, and I want some insight to be home for my family. Thank you. Well, I'll tell you what. Sorry, from Reagan. That's okay, Jolene. That's okay. Let's get it back up there. The chaos that's coming. Mr. Regan, Ms. Regan, more chaos the week of. The week of, I don't think we've gotten as much chaos as we should, but I also think the Democrats have not been able to rile up their people as much as they've tried. They've pushed for the racial crap. They've pushed for the LGBTQI crowd to get mad. They pushed the abortion crowd. They've been pushing radical, murderous, left-wing shooters. And they haven't gotten traction with the anti-gun. They haven't got traction with the pro-abortion. They haven't got traction with the anti-white critical race theory. They haven't got traction with any of their crap. They haven't. Their politicians suck. Right? Probably literally. I mean, we still have this, folks. Right? Right. Severe adverse effects. Doctors warn Pfizer's Paxlovid can interact with common medications. I'm not saying that. Doctors are warning of this. Here is the quote. Co-administration of Paxlovid with medications commonly used to manage cardiovascular conditions can potentially cause significant drug-drug interactions and may lead to severe adverse effects. They've been pushing, right, to rile people up over everything. Remember when the left wing had Karens out there attacking, screaming at people, chasing them out of stores, having them arrested, having police escort people out of stores, places of business. Remember when police were going around to gymnasiums and to beauty salons and to coffee houses and to everywhere saying, shut your businesses down, you're illegal, there's a pandemic on and you're all supposed to be, remember that? Look around now. The same people who had cerveza bug before have cerveza bug now. There aren't people fucking falling over, kicking chicken all over the street, all over the place. Cerveza cough. Little satire for you. Remember when they had that? They've done everything they can to scare us, rile us up, make us hate each other. They've turned people against their own families, against their own genders. Unfucking believable. Unfathomable. Yeah, they're going to keep pushing for chaos. The week before, I'm waiting for the big October surprise. I mean, we're in the middle of October. It's the 14th. It's time for the October surprise. And maybe that was it. Bing, October surprise. Anyways, folks, they're going to push for chaos. They have been. They haven't stopped. They haven't stopped. They literally haven't stopped pushing for chaos. So here we are. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. It's not just a great quote from Louis Pasteur, right? It is, right, the motto of this show, right? The prepared mind. Chance favors the prepared mind. And of course, my personal motto I live by, Semper Fi, always faithful. I'm always faithful to what I believe, what I think. And I try to be faithful in my actions, right? I do what I say. I live the lifestyle I live. Folks, I don't have a mansion. I don't have, I live out of fucking boxes and shit. What the fuck? I do protect my privacy, my identity, where I'm at, what I really do on a regular, I'll tell you guys some details, but I don't want these fucking lunatics trying to ruin my life any more than you want them ruining your life. Look how they get people to turn on each other. They want families turning on families, kids turning on their families. It's a crazy world, but I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to stay in the fight. I'm in it to win it, as they say. So Godspeed to you all. God bless America. Semper Fi. And chance does favor the prepared mind, does it not? Look at where this is all going. And you, my friends, are prepared.